Next door for neighborhoods, the Citizens Environmental Academy, and what is paramedicine? This and more up next on this week's edition of Lexington Now. I'm Neil Noah, and this is Lexington Now. How many social media outlets can you name? Facebook, Twitter, and Snapchat are just a few that come to mind. But did you know there's a social media platform specifically for neighborhoods? It's called Nextdoor, and Jennifer Myatt of Environmental Services tells us all about it.
Lexington has recently joined the Nextdoor social network, and if you're not familiar with Nextdoor, it's a social media site kind of like Facebook and Twitter, except that it's based on your neighborhood. So when you sign up to join, you'll put in your address, and the people in your network will be your neighbors and people who are close by to you, who live near you. And it's all sorts of different things that would apply to your neighborhood. People who are looking for lost pets, people who are looking for recommendations for different businesses or different types of services, all sorts of things. And so the city has joined Nextdoor in order to better communicate with neighbors about things going on in their neighborhoods. The city has what's called an agency Nextdoor account, and that means that we can post to everybody in the city of Lexington, but we can't see any of your posts. The only posts we see are if you reply to our posts. The city's plan for Nextdoor is to use our account to help keep you informed about events and happenings around the city. So we might use it to tell you if there's upcoming volunteer or public events. We might tell you if your waste management collection day is going to change due to holidays or for other reasons. We can give you weather updates. Most importantly, we can tailor messages that go to just small neighborhood groups. So if you have an upcoming sanitary sewer project or other construction project in your neighborhood, we can let you and your neighbors know, and it'll just be specific to your all's neighborhood. This is also helpful if we're going to put in a new traffic sign or anything like that, so that we can update small groups of people and not everybody like we would do on Facebook and Twitter. So what you see will be more specific to what you're interested in. You don't choose who you see or what you see. So you don't have to sign up or follow us to see our posts. You will automatically get our posts and get our updates from the city when you join Nextdoor as a member of Lexington.
We continued our conversation with Jennifer, this time on the topic of the Citizens Environmental Academy. Now in its second year, the Academy's aim is to engage citizens in the issues that affect the environment around them.
You may have heard about the Citizens Police Academy and Fire Academy, where a group of citizens is chosen to go through and learn about the police and fire's activities in the city and what they do. Well, we now have the Citizens Environmental Academy, and it will run one Saturday a month from May through October, and you'll learn about all of the different environmental initiatives within the city. We knew that Lexington had a lot to offer as far as environmental initiatives go. So a lot of people don't know, they might know that we recycle and they know how trash collection happens, but they haven't seen what goes on behind the scenes. And they definitely haven't spent a lot of time thinking about the sewer pipes that run under the ground and that are under our roads and houses every day. And they definitely probably don't spend too much time thinking about urban forestry or how we care for our trees that go along roadways and that are in our parks. So this is just an opportunity for people to learn about Lexington's environmental initiatives and also to have a chance to implement their own environmental project in Lexington. Applications are due on March 30th, and we will choose a number of Lexington citizens to go through the academy. You'll get to do a tour of the wastewater treatment plant and of the recycling center. You'll learn about our urban forestry program and all of the other environmental initiatives that the city has. At the end of the academy, you'll have 6 months to implement an environmental project that you and your group of other students will choose to do in Lexington. Right now, the first Citizens Environmental Academy is going through their project phase, and there are 5 different projects, and there are a couple of them that have to do with recycling and how to recycle things that aren't accepted through the city system, and also just helping people who have recently moved to Lexington, who are new homeowners, learn more about our recycling program and what we offer. And then we have a Safe Streets project to improve pedestrian safety. And then we have 2 projects that are actually out at McConnell Springs. One is to have a tree crutch for the bur oak out there, and that's basically what it sounds like. It's a device to help hold up the tree since the bur oak is enormous and getting older, and it just needs some extra help to be stabilized. And the other one is a water project that has to do with the blue hole at McConnell Springs and just restoring the banks around it to improve water quality. And we even provide some funding for the projects so that citizens can really get something great out of it. So if you're interested, please apply at our website because we would love to have you at the Citizens Environmental Academy.
When we come back, what exactly is paramedicine? Welcome back to the show. Lexington's fire department responds to thousands of emergency calls every year, but there are many callers who may not necessarily be in an emergency situation, but don't know where else to turn. Enter paramedicine. Firefighter Patrick Branham explains.
246, we have a good one, drive please.
Lexington firefighters Patrick Branham and Seth Lockhart are headed to a drug overdose.
1135.
In this case, thankfully, the patient is okay.
We're gonna take your blood pressure, buddy, okay?
Branham is going to the hospital to try to talk the man into getting drug treatment. What he's doing is a new way of handling the job of a first responder. This is paramedicine.
Paramedicine is a kind of non-traditional use of the paramedic.
The paramedicine program started in late 2017 in response to people who call 911 5, 10, or even 20 times or more a month.
We're really good at showing up and fixing a problem really fast. We have people that call because they just need to get from the bed to the living room for the day, and then they call again because they need to get from the living room back to the bedroom. Or we have people that call to go, you know, it's happened in the past that we have people that have called to get to the other side of town. They use an ambulance to go to another hospital on the other side of town. It helps them get there faster. It's obviously not the best way to do it, but they don't have, some people don't have $1 to spend on the bus, but they can call an ambulance and we'll show up and they say, I need to go to this hospital, and they'll go there.
Branham and Lockhart build relationships with these people to find the root of their frequent 911 calls and then get them the help they really need.
If we look at a person that calls 911 because they need to go to the hospital for different illnesses, then we can more specifically address that illness and find out if we need long-term care, if we need rehab for a little while, if we need to get into, we have just finding a more specific resource. Can you not make it to the doctor, so you need the doctor to come to you? Can you not keep up with your medicine? So if a pharmacist puts together that medication and brings it to your home in like a dayminder, then now maybe you can be more compliant with your medicine. Maybe it's just too much at once to figure out.
In just a few short months, the pair have collected dozens of stories about how they have helped change lives.
So we run across a family, and hardworking, but definitely down in the dumps, if you will, by no fault of their own. And mom works full time in the evenings, And because they're homeless, what actually happens is the family goes to one of the homeless shelters that'll take the mom and child, and then dad ventures off to another shelter, or sometimes sleeps on the street. And by getting involved with them and having conversations with them, we've been able to connect them with some resources that have now put them on short lists to try to get them more stable family housing, which is not very prevalent in this community. However, they were helping them try to get more stable housing and that they can be together as opposed to being separated, in different shelters.
Many of their days are spent at local shelters building relationships.
Let's head to the shelter.
We were at the shelter and the lady said, there's somebody over here and I think she needs some attention. She needs your all's help. And we're gonna call an ambulance. So we ran over there to see how she was, what was wrong, and I was able to sit down and talk to her a little bit and say, come on, just be honest with me, what's up? And she said, well, I can't get into the shelter, I have a dog. And the dog alerts people when I have seizures, and I need her to be with me. And regardless of why she has the dog, that was her that was her person. That was her companion. That was who she needed. And she couldn't take the dog in the shelter because it hadn't had its shots. That's the only thing keeping this lady from getting in the shelter. She's not going to part with her. So we were able to make a few phone calls because obviously the need is shots. So the dog just needed shots. We were able to make a few phone calls, and a veterinarian came out with a bag of food, all the vaccines the dog needed, and everything, and took care of that. And that night she was in housing and in the shelter. And we were also able then to help work with them to get her into long-term housing. She had some medical issues, she had a few things going on, and then she didn't have a need to go to a hospital to stay warm. She didn't have, we addressed the specific need that she had.
The two say this paramedicine approach to first responding is exactly why they became firefighters in the first place.
I've been doing this a long time. I've been doing it here in Lexington for the last 11 and a half years, and I enjoy taking care of the people that I guess can't take care of themselves and solving their problems.
As we all know, there's been an unfortunate uptick in drug use in recent years, and with it a rise in diseases spread by the use of dirty needles. The health department has an anonymous program designed to curb the spread of those diseases.
This is Needle Exchange Day at the Lexington Fayette County Health Department.
We see a variety of clients from all socioeconomic backgrounds, races and ethnicities. About 60% of our clients who use the needle exchange program are men and about 40% women.
Dr. Craig Humbaugh is the Lexington Fayette County Health Department Commissioner. He and his staff run the program, which launched in 2015.
When clients come in, we want them to feel comfortable. We want to build some trust with the clients. We try to meet people where they are, and the folks that we're serving are people who inject drugs. So they come in and they see the person and they get a number usually. If there's a wait, they then see the exchanger. The exchanger, if this is their first time, will ask them a series of questions. It's anonymous, but they do get a card with a unique identifier on it. And they can present that card when they come back so we know that they're a return client.
The purpose of the exchange is to stop the spread of diseases and keep dirty needles off the streets, playgrounds, and other public places.
Well, we know that this is a major health issue for our community and Kentucky as a whole, and we feel that it's our responsibility to help folks who are in this situation, who are negatively affected from a health perspective from injection drug use. HIV and hepatitis B and C are the ones that are the diseases that we commonly talk about that are spread by using dirty needles. And that's why it's so important for us to get clients to use a clean needle every time.
I've been coming here since y'all opened, and they always tell me every time, that when I'm ready, just to come talk to you, and I think I might be ready. I don't.
In addition to clean needles, exchange clients can also get tested for diseases and talk to trained counselors.
So that if our clients decide that that's the day that they want to get clean, they can talk with the counselor and many times very quickly set up some type of a treatment program. So more than 100 of our clients have taken advantage of that.
The Needle Exchange, through grant funding, also offers Narcan, the medicine which reverses opioid overdose.
The idea to give naloxone or Narcan is so that people in the home or community setting, especially those who know or live with someone that injects drugs, can be available with Narcan or naloxone to be able to use that. And we want them to be able to be willing and able to use it.
The program's growth in popularity among people from all Fayette County zip codes and even surrounding counties is what Dr. Humbaugh calls a sad success.
We've seen an increased number of folks who've used the program. Still about 15% of our clients each month are brand new. So there is still demand, growing demand for the program, unfortunately.
Kevin Hall, the public information officer for the health department, is a huge proponent of the Needle Exchange.
This is the Dr. Rice C. Leach Community Room, and this is where we have the Needle Exchange program every Friday. First thing you see when you step in is you see our sign of the hands on the wall. These are the people who built this program, and it just reminds the people who use this about the human effort and human involvement that came through. In here is one of our needle exchange rooms. This is where the clients actually come in and bring their used needles in exchange for the clean ones. Over here, take a look. This is just an afternoon's worth, a couple of hours of people who have brought in their used needles. Our staff never touches these. These come in containers. The client takes them, dumps them in there. We never exchange and touch anything because we want to keep it as safe and clean as possible for our staff. Staff member would sit here, participant would sit here. We give them forms to look at, fill out. One of the things that a lot of people in the community don't understand is that they have rights and responsibilities, that each person who comes in here has to say that I will abide by these things. Some of that is as simple as I have to make sure that I'm not injecting here on the property. I'm not going next door and doing this. You're not buying or selling anything. We don't want people selling drugs here on the property. Yeah, I want to show you this message board because this is just something that I honestly look at every time I pass because it speaks to me as someone who's lost a family member to an overdose, and for someone who sees what this community is going through. These messages, they grab me every time. Now, it's worth noting that this is the third version of this that we've had, so it may look a little bare right now, but it's because it's filled up and we have to erase it and save it. You can see here, even an old tree with deep roots shed their dead leaves and sprout new life. And imagine coming in here and knowing that you need help and you know you're doing something that you probably shouldn't be doing, and seeing this message of encouragement. It's reinforcing that I matter, I'm human, I do have someone who cares about me, and it's everyone in this building, it's everyone in this program, and we are thankful that they're here today.
Water Quality selects several projects every year to receive their stormwater grants. Chris Dent of Water Quality tells us what makes a project eligible and why the program was created.
Our water quality management fee, 10% of that goes back into the Stormwater Incentive Grant Program. And that 10% then goes out to the ratepayers every year. So we get about $1.3 million a year from the revenues from the stormwater management fee that goes back into this grant program. The three things that we look for on each of the grants is whether it meets stormwater quality, stormwater quantity, or providing education about one of those two factors. We provide the applications online, and we try to be as transparent as possible from the beginning. We provide score sheets, we provide a sample agreement along with other documentation so they can sort of see what the program would be like. They'll fill out the application form. That comes in, the Division of Water Quality staff reviews it, scores it per the score sheet that the fees board has put together. We provide, the staff at the Division of Water Quality provides it recommendations to our director. The director then decides and provides recommendations onto the Water Quality Fees Board. The Fees Board decides who ultimately receives the grants with the available funds that are there. After that, an agreement is worked out, signed, it goes through council's process in order to be able to provide funding from the government. To date, we've had over 100 grants in the neighborhood grants, the education, and the infrastructures. Some of the big infrastructure grants are the Clausen Group, which is a local landscaping company here in Lexington, received a grant, and they've been able to provide permeable pavers for one of their parking lots, a bioretention basin with a water quality unit on it, and then also a rainwater harvesting tank that they're able to use some of the water that they collect off their roof and actually use it for part of their business. As well, they also did a little example of a green roof right at the entrance of their building. The Montessori Middle School out on Stone Road, they ended up getting a feasibility study, which then turned into a stream construction project. Now they've taken an urban stream which was eroding and causing downstream issues with sediment, and have gone in and put in a more naturalized stream within the city of Lexington, and it looks like something that you would see out in Daniel Boone National Forest as opposed to something you would typically see in Lexington. Our Class A neighborhood project, I'm going to talk to you about Friends of Wolf Run. They are consistently receiving grants. They work with a lot of the individual neighborhoods within the Wolf Run watershed, doing stream restorations, invasive species removals, plantings, and the great thing about the Friends of Wolf Run is they get a lot of volunteers to come out and help with the projects themselves. A couple of the education grants that we've had, Living Arts and Science Center has done a consistent job of applying and receiving grants, and they do a lot of stuff on the north end of town where they're able to provide stormwater education to the kids and the community members up there. This year, the Water Quality Fees Board awarded 19 different grants, 7 neighborhood grants, 5 education, and 7 infrastructure grants. Not all of them were fully funded for what they were requesting, but that depends each year upon how many funds are available and how much money is there. Those ranged from stream restoration projects in some of the neighborhoods, doing some work within some of the city park areas that is driven by the citizens who frequent those parks. We've been looking at some of the different schools and organizations that have outreach to the kids and to those neighborhoods. And then the infrastructure grants are from stream restoration projects to permeable pavers and bioretention systems. The applications will be online around mid-February, and for this fiscal year. Previous fiscal years, I believe, are still online, so that way if you are interested, you can still look at it and start to see what different topics and ideas that are out there and start getting your information ready for your applications.
Although it's a slightly shorter week due to the President's Day holiday, there's still a lot happening at City Hall, and we will be covering a lot of it, including Tuesday's Environmental Quality and Public Works Committee and the Council work session, the Urban County Arts Review Board on Wednesday, and 3 meetings on Thursday: the Planning Commission, the Council's Quarterly Committee of the Whole, and the regular Council meeting. As always, you can watch these meetings live as well as our other programming right here on Lex TV Channel 185 or on our live stream, and find any meeting archived at lexingtonky.gov or find other programming on our YouTube channel at Lex TV. That's all for this edition of Lexington Now. Keep up with us all week long on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, and check out the latest traffic updates on Twitter at our handle @LexRex, or get a bird's eye view of our live traffic cams on the city's website, lexingtonky.gov. For the staff and producers at Lex TV, I'm Neil Noah, and that's it for now.